So guys, welcome back to the FPL Talk channel, and today we're taking a look at some possible differentials that you can go for in your FPL teams. Now, differentials are very important. These are players that have very low selected percentages in the game, and these can allow you to get benefits over your competitors rather than following the trends and always going for the same players such as, Saka or Gabriel Jesus or someone like that. So I'm going to show you a few you could possibly go for, and these differentials can help you get ahead of your mates in your mini leagues, because obviously who doesn't want to beat their mates in the mini league? Because a lot of people might not have these, and when they return, you're going to get more points than the people you're playing against. Now, in the next few days, I am going to be filming another team review episode. So how you enter is you subscribe, then head to my Instagram, which is in the bio, and ping me your team, and then that gives you a chance at entering where I pick teams at random to review, and that can help benefit your FPL team because I'll give you feedback and advice, and if you want to take it or not, that's your choice. But without further ado, let's get into the first differential of the video. So the first differential we are looking at is Raheem Sterling. Now, Raheem Sterling is only selected by 3.9%, and he has just been officially announced as a Chelsea player. And he's a very underrated player, Raheem Sterling. He gets great numbers every year in a Man City team where he's obviously rotated in and out, so it's very hard to get consistent form, yet somehow he still manages to do so, and we saw how class he was in the Euros, and he's like 27 or 28, so he's literally just entering the prime age of his career, and Chelsea have managed to get him, which will be a very good move for him. And in this Chelsea team, he's a pretty much nailed on starter, because let's be honest, they've got Werner and Pulisic on the wing who are quite inconsistent. I think they want to get another winger, but he's going to play on the other side and play Sterling, Havertz and someone else. So Raheem Sterling only selected by 3.9%, which is very low, and 10 million, that comes under Son and Salah, who are the elite of the elite. And if you're struggling for money, you might still feel that Sterling is a very good option for you to have without no Pep roulette anymore, which is unbelievable. And his fixtures are Everton, Spurs, Leeds, Leicester and Southampton. 3 green fixtures in his first 5. You could see him hitting the ground running. Obviously, it will be interesting to see how he gets on in pre-season and what he can do. But we all know the quality Sterling has, and I think he'll hit the ground running. And with only that little select in him, he could be a great differential for your team, especially in this Chelsea team that have just signed Koulibaly and are basically building from the back, and could mount a title challenge once again. As last season, I thought coming into this year, they would be very, very good and could have come first or second, but obviously it wasn't to be. They did have a few injury issues in their wing backs, especially with Reece James and Chilwell. But this year, I can see him mounting a very good title charge, and Raheem Sterling is only going to help that and get those attacking returns that are only going to benefit us in FPL. So here's one that you could go for. Let's get into the next one. Now, we just spoke about Pep Roulette, but someone I really want to speak about is RIYAD Mahrez. Now, RIYAD Mahrez only selected by 4.4% of players and 8 million, which is very, very cheap. It comes in that threshold where we've got Saka, Bowen, Mount, and it's which one to choose out of all of them. And RIYAD Mahrez could actually be your man. Obviously, he's in that dominant Man City team, but he is at risk of Pep Roulette. But they have just sold a winger, which could make Mahrez more nailed on. And this could be a big season for RIYAD Mahrez. They have got Phil Foden and Grealish, but they tend to play more off the left. So RIYAD Mahrez is looking like a pretty nailed-on starter for me at the minute. And obviously, you want as many attackers in your team that are nailed on to start from Man City as possible, just because they're so dominant. And I've already got Haaland, but a little double up from Man City wouldn't harm anyone, because I've already done it with Liverpool. I've got Salah and Diaz. Diaz at 8 million is a right steal, and he's selected by quite a few because everyone else agrees. But if we take a look at RIYAD Mahrez's starting fixtures, he's got West Ham first, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Palace and Forest. Again, 3 green fixtures in his first 5, and with his quality, you can see him returning. Whenever he did have a run of games, he was quite effective. He played well in the Champions League as well last season, RIYAD Mahrez. But again, he is one to watch out for in a Man City team that is once again strengthening with depth. They've got Calvin Phillips, Alvarez, Haaland, obviously. So he is one that you could put in to take a bit of a gamble, and it could pay off. Now on to a man who is very in the news. JADON Sancho obviously scored that first goal under the Ten Hag era. And yes, they were playing Liverpool's B or C team, but you've still got to get the job done, right? You've still got to put in a performance. And to be fair to United, they did that and played very well. And JADON Sancho, this could be a big season for him. He was in and out when he came in under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think he was still trying to work him out a bit. But under Ten Hag, this is his second season in the Premier League. I think he's had time to settle in now, and he could be very influential off that left side. Obviously, he's also got Marcus Rashford competing against him, but Sancho can play off the left or the right, which makes him more nailed on. And in that pre-season game, he looked very, very sharp. And his fixtures are Brighton, Brentford, Liverpool, Southampton, Leicester. So, again, 3 green fixtures in his first 5. And he's got some good fixtures in there where he could get some potential returns. And if United can strengthen, they have just agreed a deal for Martinez from Ajax. And they also got Malacia from the Eredivisie as well, from where Ten Hag has come from. So it'll be interesting to see how those assets improve Man United. But Ten Hag, all the players seem to be very, very happy with the way things are changing. And I saw an interview with Tom Heaton the other day. He was saying all the fans should be excited because the players are working very hard and they felt like they've had to come together more to improve. And that's what you want to hear when you have a new manager in. He's only selected by 5.6 million. 5.6%, and he cost him 7.5 million. That is an absolute bargain on FPL. 7.5 million. He comes just under that 8 million, 8.5 million bracket, where you can then have more money to spend elsewhere to improve your team, rather than going for like the Mason Mount, Saka or Bowen that costs slightly more. Again, Jadon Sancho in this United team could be defo one to watch. Now on to a man who's going to be Raheem Sterling's teammate at Chelsea. It is Kai Havertz. Now they're probably going to go Sterling, Havertz and another winger who they do sign. But Kai Havertz could be a brilliant differential this year. Certainly one to watch out for because they've just sold Lukaku. Obviously, he's gone on loan back to Inter. And that one really didn't work out, let's be honest. He really is one of the biggest flops of all time, unless he comes back from Inter and then decides, you know what, I want to actually play for Chelsea and starts whacking in the goals. But Kai Havertz, we've seen glimpses of his quality, and that number 9 position seems to be the best position for him, where he produces his best numbers. And he's got that Champions League winning goal under his belt, which always helps for your confidence all the time. But I can see Kai Havertz having a massive season, as he's going to get a very consistent run of fixtures in the same position this year, rather than being in and out in that team. And he's coming in at 8 million. Again, there's so many people around that threshold, but this time Kai Havertz is a forward. So you also have Gabriel Jesus at that mark, who a lot of people have gone for. But if you want a differential in Kai Havertz in that Chelsea team, then that could be one for you. I've got Haaland and Jesus, but again, Havertz is the same value as Jesus, so he could be one you swap in and out. Now, Havertz's fixtures are Everton, Spurs, Leeds, Leicester and Southampton, the same as Sterling. He's got a beautiful start, so he's only selected by 5%. So once again, if you put him in, and you can even take a chance on him in those games, he still could get a few returns, even if Chelsea struggle, just because of, you know, how easy those fixtures are. And I feel like if you are going to take this risk, you should only go for Raheem Sterling or Havertz. Don't go for both, because if Chelsea somehow flop, you're really not going to get any benefit from that. And also you have the budget keeper in Mendy, 5 million in goal, as well as the influential Reece James, who I feel like you're going to want 1 or 2 of. And you don't want to waste your Chelsea players in those attacking assets. But Kai Havertz is certainly one to watch out for, especially because he's a lone striker in that Chelsea team currently, and they don't like playing Werner through the middle. So next up, we've got the Aston Villa defender, Luca Digne. Now, a lot of people might have thought I'd put Matty Cash in and say, get him in your team, but I've gone for Luca Digne, and I'll explain my reasons why. Obviously, he moved to Villa after not fitting Rafa Benitez's system, and he didn't like him for whatever reason, even though I think he's quality. The reason why I would go for him over Matty Cash is because Luca Digne is on set pieces, and we all know how important set pieces are in FPL, whether it be a goal or an assist from a corner or a free kick. He has that quality to whip the ball in and find someone in the box. And the reason I say this as well is because of how Aston Villa are strengthening. They're getting even better each year. They've now got Diego Carlos as well as Kamara and a few other players who they're signing. And they really look like they are strengthening. And they've got Steven Gerrard, who managed for his first time in the Premier League last year. And this could be his year where he's already settled in and he can finally get his plan in place of what he wants to do, rather than taking over from someone else. And I really think Luca Digne can help do that, especially with his starts of his fixtures with Bournemouth, Everton, Palace, West Ham and Arsenal. For only 5 million with 3.9% selected, he could be a great differential. And even if they concede in them fixtures, he could easily get an attacking return in one of them. So I think Aston Villa assets are one to look out for. And if you want a differential, Luca Digne is a great defender to go for. There's also Coutinho in midfield, who's obviously not a differential. He's selected by like 20-something%, but he's got those fixtures and he has a high chance of getting those attacking returns. But if you want a defender from Aston Villa, I would certainly recommend considering Luca Digne. So we're into our final differential now. I know what you're thinking. It's Matt Doherty, the signing Jed Spence. But this applies for both of them. Because if Jed Spence signs, you're obviously going to go for Jed Spence over Doherty because he's going to be the nailed-on one. But this is where I'm thinking this is a great differential, because we have Perisic, who a lot of people are putting in, including myself, because of how quality he's been in other leagues, the Champions League and internationally. but he is quite old, and this means when the cups start, when the Champions League starts, he is going to get more fatigued, and that rotational risk of Reguilon and Sessegnon is going to come into play. Whereas Jed Spence is going to be a lot younger, a lot more fitter, and he'll be able to keep playing a lot more games. And to be honest, for an extra 0.5 million, I don't know if Perisic is worth it, because I feel like whoever starts on the right for Spurs will still get as many returns as the person on the left, even if it's a bit... Perisic gets a few more, it'll be quite close. And this 0.5 million is very important in FPL because it allows you to spend elsewhere. And now, I know we've all had our money troubles, including yourself, in FPL, where we're trying to find that extra 0.5 million or million so we can upgrade a position because the player we currently have, we're not satisfied with and he won't do the job. So this 0.5 million from a Spurs asset, still having a wing back from Spurs, could be very effective for your team as you can upgrade a player elsewhere while still getting probably around the same points. But that is the last differential we're going to speak about today. So as I said before, to have a chance of featuring in the next YouTube video, make sure you subscribe here and then head over to the Instagram, which will be in the bio. Send me your team and I'm going to be picking teams at random to react to. And if you're lucky, you'll get selected and be in my video. But if you have enjoyed this one, make sure you do subscribe and leave a like on the video. I obviously appreciate you being here as always. And we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So if you could help with that, that'd be amazing. But I'll see you in the next one.